Hey, nice meeting you guys. Thanks for having me.
Great to meet you too. All right, so Bob, you're the founder of Questflow, which it seems at the core is sort of enabling agentic swarms to go do cool shit, working together rather than sort of living in their own little silos. Um, I guess I'm very curious. What is X402 unlocking for you? I'm really trying to put a fine point to help people contextualize what this shift might mean, and it seems like you guys are some of the early movers to put it into action.
Yeah, so actually how we think about this is like this. We always think about what is the actual unlock between crypto and AI. A lot of people are talking about AI plus Web3, right? But what kind of use cases that by having crypto you can unlock for AI products? I think X402 is a perfect example because by default, X402 is a pay-as-you-go method. You don't have to do any subscriptions. You don't have to have any credits. Basically, you can simply using X402 to unlock a lot of the API services that's available in the markets. So, for example, probably one of the most popular APIs right now is Sora 2, right? It was just released yesterday. And I think there are already a bunch of services that is asking, hey, you need to subscribe to different kinds of services, use the credits, and then basically become a part of another ecosystem. But how we think about this is more like in a decentralized manner. It's more about if we have X402, then basically we can enable multiple APIs, pay as you go for users, and put them together in a quote unquote agentic workflow or agent swarms. So for example, if we want to combine Sora 2 with the Instagram posting capabilities, with maybe scheduling, maybe with CoinGecko, if we want to put multiple APIs together to create a product, it's almost impossible for you to do it as a regular developer because you have to subscribe to 5 or 6 different products. You have to basically have 5, 6 different API keys, and you have to manage all these credits across multiple systems. And I think what X402 really enables is, as a regular user, as a regular builder, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can simply have your wallet and then start using all these services and using X402 to kind of pay out to all different APIs that you want to use. So I think that's definitely one of the biggest unlock. And for Questflow, what we are trying to do is by doing two sides of the market. On the creator side, trying to onboard as many agent creators, knowledge bases as possible to make them all X402 enabled. So we have a website called 828.build. Basically, it kind of lists all the agents that's already X402 enabled. And on the user side, it's more about we want to simply translate the user intent in natural language into all these agents working together for the users autonomously.
So you have this concept of agent swarms, and that there's some implied value, I guess, around these agentic swarms. So I'm curious, what are the most profitable agent swarms in Questflow, and how do I go buy their token?
Yeah, so one of the most popular one is Santa. It's actually a collaboration that we did with Virtuals back in the days, I think Christmas last year. So it almost had been a year. It was created by some other teams, but basically the core idea is that the Santa team wants to put all the Web3 tools in a swarm to allow users to be able to use all of them. So if you want to use Nansen, Masari, CoinGecko, maybe AXBT, all these kind of services, in a regular way, you kind of have to subscribe to basically 10 different kind of subscriptions, and you have to maintain them. It will be very, very expensive. So the Santa's promise is that what you can do is simply connect all these agents, put into a swarm, and offer it out to a regular user. And for all the users within this ecosystem, you can simply just pay as you go. So if you want to ask AXBT about the BTC price today, then you can simply ask it per request. So you can just ask the question, and will pay a micropayments through X402 protocol to the AXBT agents. So by doing that, Santa kind of unlocks a lot of use cases that people don't have to, have a credit card subscribe to all these systems.
And is there some sort of speculative game around that? Because I see a price on your website.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if there's a token of, there's always some speculation there. I think for the Santa's promise, it was about they want to use the trading fees that they earned to unlock as many Web3 tools as possible. So a lot of people buy into that idea, so they're gonna purchase the token. Some people don't, that they sell it. But the core idea is still the same. It's want to unlock more APIs and put them into the X402 ecosystem that regular people can simply just pay as
So
you go.
Eric, I'm super curious about micropayments, because again, you sort of framed our conversation as like, solving one of the initial sins of the internet, not having payments. And I think, micropayments have been one of those topics of discussion since the earliest days, right? Like we on the face of it, paying small little bits of money for the specific utility you have just seems like the most obvious thing. It seems like it could unlock a lot. And yet the history of consumer interactions on the internet, even B2B interactions on the internet, has proven that that is very much not a desired dynamic. We don't want to have to consider those purchases all the time. I think I'm with you in thinking that agent to agent interaction removes a lot of sort of like the psychological barrier that is probably the core that gets in the way of micropayments. But part of me also sort of thinks that it's maybe just abstracting that a little bit more, and ultimately somebody's having to make a decision here to actually make a payment. So can you guys help me understand maybe why this standard and or this new world we're walking into is going to be different than the last 30 years on the internet?
I'll give you,
go ahead, Eric.
I'll give you two things. So one is that the smallest amount of value that you could transmit on the internet with a credit card is about $1, because there's a 30 cents fee and 3% typically if you're accepting credit card. And so that's actually quite a lot of money. And that is not a micropayment. That is, that's a payment. And then so that there's a technological or like an economic barrier where if you had to pay $1 for every time, like every couple of minutes, like it would be very expensive to use the internet. With X402 and more modern mechanisms of transmitting value that X402 supports, it can be 1/10 of a cent, right? And that incremental value can be much, much lower. And so that's one side of it. The second side of it is that we have an economic model of the internet that works. Like, why do people do stuff? Why do people post online? What is the economic model of the current internet? It's ads and then checkout conversion on e-commerce functionally, right? And the interesting thing is that AI agents are somewhat immune to ads. Like this current model of like human in a loop, sees ads, at some point probabilistically converts to buying your product, is not guaranteed to continue. And so we need a new economic model that incentivizes people to actually do stuff on the internet and post content and provide services. Because right now everything is either ad conversion or SaaS subscription. And so the moment now for micropayments is that perhaps now that you can spend a cent or 1/10 of a cent, or 30 cents, you'll just do it. And so instead of needing to pay for a $10 a year New York Times subscription, maybe you can just pay 50 cents to read the article, right? And maybe your AI agent can do the same.
I think one of the lessons of the internet is that a penny is a penny versus zero is like a massive difference in conversion rates and individuals making decisions. And so, Bob, I guess I'm curious if I think if we look at most of like the most compelling AI offerings right now, we're paying a monthly fee and we're not paying token by token, right? Especially on I think for B2B and on the consumer side, unless you're sort of deep in the infrastructure side of things. I'm curious how you guys are thinking about packaging this up in a way that still appeals to maybe the human decision maker that is still in the loop here, or am I just being too narrow-sighted here, and that that whole dynamic is going to change?
No, I think there is always an evolution of technology and how people use it, right? I think for now, I think it'll be easy for others to subscribe to an AI service like ChatGPT and just get started, because that's what kind of services they're familiar with. But if you kind of evolve it to the next step, is as you can see, like from yesterday's release, OpenAI is adding more services into the ChatGPT experience, like adding apps, adding different kind of agent builders. And the natural next step is if you want to have multiple agents in the ecosystem, then you kind of have to have a way to connect them to be able to allow them to be able to work together. If you want to do that, then that kind of goes back to your previous question. What kind of use cases or scenarios where micropayments happen. I think agents is actually a very natural use case of micropayments, because even people don't realize it. Every single time you type in a natural language command to the AI, there are a lot of micropayments already happening between function calls, between knowledge bases, between different kind of services that agents are trying to do to give you the results. But the reason why people don't really realize that is there's a credit system for all these AI services. So you don't really know that it's happening behind the scene, but it's actually happening by calling and paying different APIs, paying different knowledge bases, etc. So I think what we are trying to do is, if the agent world is actually the next step, then there definitely needs a way to connect different agents together to unlock these use cases and allow these agents not only to be able to communicate, but also be able to transact and pay each other. And if we want to do that, then X402 is kind of like the building blocks, the foundation of everything that we are trying to build.
Got it. Okay. So you guys raised $6.5 million from Cyberfund, our friends over at Delphi, and I think the pitch here is that you're building the AI agent economy. It makes me wonder where you see your business model in this. If Eric and team are going out here and making the payments zero cost on the internet, and everybody's going to be integrating with this one simple line of code, where do you fit in, and what's your business model?
Yeah, so we kind of have two ways of like making money. One is that, like you already described, we have an agent swarm structure that we allow users to be able to form their agent swarm. Inside, we say it's an agent company. Basically, you're forming your agent company, and you are launching it as a token. So that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is not only you're launching the agent swarm as a token, but also you are launching agent swarm as a service to provide for others. So as use Santa by Virtuos as an example, right? Santa by Virtuos, there are two ways of making money for us. One is the token itself has a trading fee that we can make a little bit of money. On the other side, there's a payment structure that every single time user is interacting with the Santa swarm, we get a fee from it as well. So what we are trying to do is kind of build upon X402, that we are trying to be the intent kind of orchestrator, that we kind of guide the user intent into the correct agents and allow them to be able to match with each other. And by doing so, we'll take a little transaction fee by doing this. So this is kind of like the protocol we're building.
All right, maybe last question here before we get to bring up our next guest, who's going to further expand our understanding of how this technology can be used. You are clearly sitting at the edge. You're looking into the future. You're trying to make sense of what's coming so you can position your company ahead of it. What do most of the people on the internet not quite grok about the world you see coming at us fast?
Naturally see, like, a lot of the SaaS companies are turning themselves into agents gradually. So the natural next step is how these agents can connect with each other. So I definitely see there's an opportunity there, and I mean, that's why we're building what we're building.
So I'm curious then, Eric, from like, I mean, you work at a very big company. You have to sort of, I think most people who underestimate what that means, you still have to advocate for and get attention and belief and buy into your strategy, et cetera. What is the conversation in Coinbase like, and why do they see this as kind of a core part of the strategy going forward?
Well, excuse me. Like I said, this isn't the first time Coinbase has tried to do this, right? Like, to a certain degree, like, Coinbase fundamentally just does believe in open standards, and the proliferation of these technologies is going to grow the pie and be good for the industry, the ecosystem, and everything else. And then, my day job as the head of engineering for Coinbase Developer Platform, we build tools that make it super easy to build these agents and build, give agents a wallet. We had a whole campaign of like, every agent has a wallet. Our wallets are all EIP 1193 compatible, and all the X402 things work great with CDP tools. You can use other things like VM or Ethers.js or any number of other wallets that exist, Web3.js and the Solana ecosystem. But we're gonna, if X402 proliferates, we're gonna 10x, 100x the number of people who are building in crypto, and that's good for Coinbase Developer Platform.
Makes sense. Bob, I've been clicking around your website. I think I'm one of these people who like I'm very much here for the sort of agentic swarms coming in and making my life a lot easier. I feel like we've got a tough road ahead to take that sort of big vision and make that real and tangible and exciting to people. So excited to see the head start you guys have here. But what should we be looking for from you guys in the next little while that might get somebody like me excited?
Yeah, actually, we have a big release coming soon because as you know, agent aggregator, like we are aggregating more agents day by day, and then one common request from users is they don't want just chat experience; they want a more dynamic experience, allow multiple agents to be able to create dashboards, create even websites, games, etc., etc. So it's tapping a little bit into the vibe coding era, but not really vibe coding, but more like vibe allowing multiple agents work for you kind of thing. So we have a like an agentic dashboard launch coming soon this month. So looking forward to that, and stay tuned.
Agentic agents vibing. I'm here for it. Bob, thanks for hanging out with us today, and we'll be watching closely.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Awesome.